This is one of those stories that starts with something really simple. A basic meal, a flock of chickens, and a medical mystery that was costing thousands and thousands of lives. And believe it or not, the solution to that mystery unlocks the secret to how your body is creating energy right now, this very second. So, what on earth could these three things possibly have in common? I mean, sick chickens, polished rice, and the energy in your cells. It sounds like a riddle, right? Well, as it turns out, they have everything in common. The answer to this puzzle is going to take us on a journey that reveals the discovery of some of the most essential molecules for life. All right, so our story kicks off in the late 1800s. Germ theory was the hot new thing in medicine, and this Dutch physician was trying to solve the riddle of a truly devastating disease. He was absolutely convinced he was hunting for some kind of microbe, some kind of bacteria. But the real culprit, it was hiding in plain sight. What's so amazing about this is that it was a complete accident. Christian Eichmann was dead set on beriberi being a bacterial infection. But then his lab chickens started getting sick from eating leftover polished rice. And then, just as suddenly, they all got better when a new guy switched them to cheaper, unpolished rice to save a few bucks. Eichmann had to rethink everything. It took until 1912 for a biochemist named Casimir Funk to finally isolate the stuff, this life-saving substance from the rice bran. He saw it was a type of molecule called an amine, and since it was vital for life, he came up with the perfect name, vitamin. So that first vitamin, the one we now call thiamine or vitamin B1, man, it just opened the floodgates. Scientists suddenly realized there was a whole class of these essential compounds. So let's take a look at one of the two major groups, the water-soluble vitamins. Okay, so here's the absolute key difference. Fat-soluble vitamins, well, your body can hang on to those. It can tuck them away in your fat cells for a rainy day. But water-soluble vitamins, nope. They dissolve in water, and our bodies just don't have a good way to store them. Any extra you take in basically just gets washed right out. And that means you have to keep getting them, day in and day out from your diet. And here's the lineup. This is the team we're talking about. You've got the famous vitamin C, of course, and then you have this incredible family of B vitamins. From B1, the original vitamin from rice bran, all the way to B12. Each one has a very specific job, but as we're about to see, a bunch of them work together in one of the single most important processes in your entire body. So now, let's zoom in. I mean, way, way down to the microscopic level, inside pretty much every single one of your cells. We're going to take a look at the engine that powers everything you do, think, and feel. This engine is called the Krebs cycle. It's the central hub in our cellular power plants, these little things called mitochondria, where the final nitty-gritty breakdown of our food happens. Its entire purpose is to systematically tear fuel apart to generate the energy currency our cells need to live. All right, let's pop the hood on this thing. Here's how it works. Step 1. A little 2-carbon fuel molecule called acetyl-CoA gets fed into the cycle. Step 2. A whole series of super precise chemical reactions starts breaking that fuel apart. Step 3. As it breaks down, it releases carbon dioxide as waste. And get this, that's literally part of the CO2 you are breathing out right now. And finally, step 4, the good part. As that fuel is broken down, all its energy gets captured and loaded onto special molecules that then go on to power the rest of the cell. Okay, so we've met the vitamins, and we've met this incredible cellular engine. Now it is time to put the two pieces of this puzzle together, right? If acetyl-CoA is the fuel that goes into the engine, what are the B vitamins doing? Are they just another type of fuel? Well, the answer is way more interesting than that. And this is the big reveal, the absolute key to understanding all of this. The B vitamins aren't the fuel. They are the essential tools and machine parts that make the engine run. Think of them as the spark plugs, the wrenches, the gears. Without thiamine, you can't even get the fuel ready to go. Without riboflavin and niacin, you don't have the little energy trucks, FAD and NAD+, to carry the power away. And without pantothenic acid, you can't even make the fuel molecule in the first place. They are absolutely non-negotiably critical. So now we can finally truly understand what happens if these critical tools go missing. The engine doesn't just slow down or sputter, it grinds to a complete catastrophic halt. And boom, this takes us right back to our original mystery, beriberi. It wasn't a germ, it wasn't a poison, it was a disease caused by a missing tool in the body's engine, a critical lack of thiamine, vitamin B1. Without thiamine, your body can't use glucose for fuel efficiently. the engine stalls. You get a massive energy shortage. And think about it. Which parts of your body are going to notice a power outage first? The ones that use the most energy, right? Your heart and your nervous system. That's exactly why the symptoms of beriberi were so devastating. Heart failure in wet beriberi and nerve damage and muscle wasting in dry beriberi. It's a system-wide power failure. And beriberi isn't some one-off case. Not at all. A lack of niacin, or vitamin B3, causes a horrible disease called pellagra. And remember, niacin is what our body uses to build NAD+, one of those key little trucks that hauls energy away from the Krebs cycle. So if you don't have niacin, you can't make enough NAD+. It's like trying to run a power plant with no power lines or trucks to carry the electricity away. The whole system just collapses. This leads to the infamous 3 Ds of pellagra: diarrhea, because the cells lining your gut don't have the energy to regenerate themselves; dermatitis, because your skin cells can't repair; and dementia, because the brain, our most energy-hungry organ, is literally running out of juice. Thankfully, diseases like beriberi and pellagra are mostly a thing of the past in many parts of the world today. So let's bring this whole story into the here and now and talk about keeping your own cellular engines humming along. So where do we find all these essential tools? Well, the good news is they're in a huge variety of very common foods. A balanced diet that's rich in things like vegetables and fruits, dairy, meat, legumes, and fortified grains is typically going to give you all the wrenches and spark plugs your cellular engines need to run smoothly. Now, while a full-blown severe deficiency is pretty rare these days in places like North America, that doesn't mean everyone is in the clear. Deficiencies can definitely still happen, especially with certain medical conditions that affect how you absorb nutrients, or in cases of alcohol use disorder, which can really mess with how the body uses these vitamins. And this, of course, leads a lot of people to think about supplements. But, and this is a big but, it's really important to go into that with your eyes open. As Harvard Health points out, the supplement industry is regulated totally differently from medicine. In the US, for instance, manufacturers don't have to prove their products are pure or safe, or even that they work before they put them on the shelf. So we've gone from a flock of sick chickens all the way down to the incredible humming engine inside your own mitochondria. We've seen just how essential these tiny vitamins really are. They're not the fuel, but they are the critical, irreplaceable tools that make the entire engine work. And knowing that, well, it leaves us with a simple but pretty powerful question. How are you going to choose to supply the tools for your own body?